that breaks your heart can actually be the exact same one that fixes it. So today, through my speech, I'm going to inform you about heartbreak, and when I'm finished, you'll have a better understanding about what physically goes on with your body, as well as a few ways to handle the stressors. In order to do that, I'm going to go over why you physically feel pain during and after a breakup, what happens if your stress isn't handled properly, as well as how to actually handle that stress. First, you start with that initial breakup, where emotions run high and you feel heartbreak. But when I did my audience analysis, no one really knew what heartbreak was. So the Merriam-Webster Learning Dictionary describes it as a strong emotional sadness or disappointment. So yes, obviously there's an emotional toll that comes to being heartbroken, but did you guys know there's also a physical toll? In 2015, the American Heart Association did a study based on people who have already had their heart broken, and 75% of those people said that they physically felt pain. This is known as broken heart syndrome. Broken heart syndrome is often confused with actually having a heart attack because it resembles a pain in your chest. But instead of it being chemically imbalanced and off, it's actually an emotional stress. Women are more likely to get this, but men, you're not in the clear because you can actually die from it. So no, death by breaking up with someone is not common at all. But if you do have broken heart syndrome, it can happen because a portion of your heart actually enlarges and your blood flow slows down. So now that I've told you a little bit more about what physically happens to your body, I'm going to go on to what happens if you do not handle that stress properly. Now remember, people handle stress differently. Some people internalize and some people externalize. That doesn't mean there's a bad way to do both. A poor way of internalizing would be pretending like you don't have any emotions at all and going drinking with your friends, getting belligerently drunk, pretending like you're not hurt at all. An example of poorly externalizing would be locking yourself in your room for 3 days with that tub of chocolate chunk ice cream and crying over your boyfriend breaking up with you. Obviously, neither work very well. According to Dr. Maurer, Family Doctor Online, your body reacts to stress whether you acknowledge it or not. So by externalizing poorly, you're only focusing on stress and your body doesn't even know it's healthy. By externalizing poorly, you're more likely to get a mental illness, such as depression or anxiety. And although it may be temporary, there have been people known to get it long term. On the opposite side, you have internalizing poorly, when you pretend that nothing's wrong and your relationship didn't affect you in any way at all. Dr. Maurer says this can actually change to physical stress in the shape of stomach ulcers, migraines, high fevers, and other physical ailments. So now that we've gone over how poorly internalizing and poorly externalizing your emotions can actually physically and mentally hurt you, we'll go over some healthy ways to handle a breakup. In an article written by Leah Noble, Journal of Psychology, she states the first step is to acknowledge that you're hurt. Acknowledge that something happened, but more importantly, don't get caught up on it. Acknowledge that you're stressed, but don't infatuate your life with it. In that same article, she goes on to say that dopamine levels drop significantly after a breakup. So if you do get stuck on it, that's when the mental health issues come in, such as depression and anxiety. So now I'll go over what happens when you do it correctly, externalizing and internalizing, because your emotions just don't go away. If you're someone who internalizes, it's okay. So you like to go out and have fun. Most people do. The biggest problem for people who internalize is not recognizing your emotions. So you need to add in that first step and recognize that you're hurt or that you're happy with the breakup being over. The biggest point to this is bringing those dopamine levels back up, getting back into normal everyday life, and being happy. On the opposite side, people who externalize their emotions, they forget to move on. They sit in their room for days on end and they only think about the problems in their life. So when you externalize, you're very good at recognizing that you're hurt. But next, you need to go out, have fun, socialize, go out with your friends, and refocus that energy. And by refocusing, I mean going for a run, doing your laundry, doing homework, anything to get your mind off of it. So in the end, again, just bring those dopamine levels back up and have fun. Overall, you've heard me talk about what physically happens to your body, what happens if you don't handle stress properly, as well as a few ways to handle the stress in a healthy way. So just remember what Nicholas Sparks said. The very emotion that breaks your heart is actually the exact same one that can fix it. Thank you.